Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today let's talk about some of the sleeping habits that we tend to follow in India and try to understand is there any scientific reason behind it. I remember my grandmother who used to be really fussy about which direction I sleep and how I wake up. I used to somehow escape from my dad, but my grandmother was very particular about how I sleep and how I actually have to get up. At that time I thought it was some kind of nuisance, but as I tend to look back, I thought of let's see if there is any scientific reason behind it. One thing that I always thought was that I should never put my head to the north. I hope you all have heard of the story where Shiva, after cutting off Ganesh's head, asked all his Gana to go ahead and find any living being who is sleeping by pointing his head towards north. So I thought it was some story my grandmother kind of used to say to keep me from putting my head towards north. But as I look back into it and try to understand if there is scientific reason behind it, we can see that our heart is located almost 2/3 upwards towards our body. It is not in somewhere in the middle of our body. It's because pumping the blood against the gravity is much harder. So it's almost 3/4 upwards towards your body, whereas pumping it down is not that much harder. And the blood vessels, the more they go towards your brain, they are much more finer. They become almost like a hair, like when they are more towards brain, and they are like they can't even take an extra drop of blood. If any of us have any blood problems, let's say anemia, what does doctor suggest? He suggests an iron tablet. So it tells us that iron is actually a very important part of the blood. As you know, Earth has both North Pole and South Pole, where there are magnetic forces are in place. If you sleep by placing your head to the north, let's say 5-6 hours continuously, because in the night that you sleep, usually the magnetic force from Earth will start having an impact on you. It doesn't mean you're drop dead if you just start sleeping onto the north next day. No, when you are sleeping at the horizontal level, you can clearly make out that your body's pulse actually drops. Body is making this adjustment so that it doesn't pump too much of blood to the head. Now if you sleep 5 to 6 hours pointing your head towards north, the magnetic force might cause damage to your brain. It could lead to hemorrhage and paralytic strikes. If your system is too strong, of course you will get up with agitated sleep, because there is too much of blood going into the brain than what it should be while you are sleeping. So what is the best direction to sleep then? When you are in northern hemisphere, the best direction to sleep is east. Northeast is fine, west is also all right, south is okay, but a complete no to north. This holds good as long as you are in the northern hemisphere. If you go to southern hemisphere, then don't put your head towards southern direction. I also remember my grandmother used to say, always wake up to the right side. Yeah, and I can see there is also scientific reason behind it, because your metabolic activities are completely low when you go for sleep, and if you suddenly turn to your left as you wake up, where you have your heart on the left side, you could put some pressure on the cardiac system. So they always suggest you turn to right, and once you wake up, they always say rub your hands and look into them. And I always wonder what's that about. So now I can, when we study more, we can see that you have a lot of nerves composition on your hand, and by rubbing them you are kind of making your entire system awake. And since you have closed your eyes for such long duration, it is always best that you look into it which has, more or less no color, where you look into your palms. So these are the some of the scientific reasons behind why we are told never to put our head to the north, and always wake up to the right side and rub your palms and look into them first before you seeing any other things. That's it for today. If you like this kind of video, remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you.